I paid for my brother's recovery after a car accident, but when my sister demanded money for a luxury apartment, to be fair, my mother exploded at me for refusing. I, Amelia, 35F, have always known that my younger sister, Lila, 29F, was the star of our family. My parents, especially my mother, treated her like she was royalty, while I was always expected to be the responsible one. Our brother, Ethan, 32M, and I bonded over this silent but mutual understanding. We were background characters in the story of Lila's life. Growing up, Lila could do no wrong. When she threw tantrums, they were seen as expressions of her artistic soul. When she failed classes, it was because education stifles creativity. Meanwhile, Ethan and I were expected to excel in school, help out at home, and later, take care of the family responsibilities. Ethan, being the middle child, often tried to mediate between Lila and me, though he knew it was a losing battle. He had a strong sense of justice, but also knew when to step away from conflicts that were impossible to win. Unlike me, who always stayed and fought for fairness, Ethan took a different route. He distanced himself from the family drama early on. His career as a journalist gave him an excuse to travel and stay away, though we always remained close, checking in on each other when we could. Despite this imbalance, Ethan and I carved out our own lives. He pursued his journalism career, traveling the world, while I became a financial analyst, securing a stable and comfortable life for myself. Lila, on the other hand, drifted from one dream to another, never holding a stable job, living off our parents, and blaming the world for her lack of success. The request that broke everything. Things came to a head when Ethan got into a serious accident. His insurance covered most of the medical costs, but he needed financial support for post-surgery therapy. I stepped in without hesitation, covering the expenses to ensure he had the best care. Lila, seeing this, decided it was her turn to cash in. A week after Ethan started his recovery, she called me with an announcement. She had found her dream apartment, a luxury loft downtown, and needed my support to secure it. "I know you have money," she said, as if that alone justified her demand. "And after all, you helped Ethan. It's only fair you help me too." I laughed, thinking she was joking, but the silence on the other end of the line told me otherwise. "No, Lila. Ethan needed medical help. That's not the same as funding your lifestyle." Her reaction was explosive. She called me selfish, accusing me of playing favorites. Then, of course, she ran to our mother. Within an hour, I got the expected call from my mother, who was livid. "How dare you deny your sister? She's struggling. She's struggling because she refuses to work, Mom. She's special. She deserves support from her family. She's 29. She deserves a job." That was the moment I realized there was no reasoning with them. The family ultimatum. Days passed, and the situation escalated. My mother started guilt-tripping me, reminding me of all she had done for me growing up. Lila, on the other hand, had taken to social media, posting cryptic messages about betrayal and greedy siblings. But the final blow came when my mother threatened to cut me off entirely. "If you won't help your sister, don't expect to be part of this family anymore." I took a deep breath and said the words I should have said years ago. "Good. Because I'm done being your family's wallet." And with that, I blocked both of them. Freedom and fallout. For the first time in years, I felt free. No more manipulative phone calls, no more being the responsible one while Lila played the victim. Ethan, who had always been more forgiving, finally admitted that cutting them off might be the best thing I could have done. Months passed. My mother and Lila tried various tactics, calling from different numbers, sending relatives to plead their case, even showing up at my workplace. But I held firm. The real shock came when I found out my mother had mortgaged the family home to fund Lila's lifestyle. She had transferred a huge portion of her savings to help Lila start a business, which, of course, failed within months. Now, she was on the verge of losing everything. And somehow, I was supposed to fix it. The final confrontation. When my mother called again, I answered, not out of guilt, but out of curiosity. "You need to help, Amelia. We're in trouble." "No, you and Lila are in trouble. We're family." "No, we stopped being family when you decided my only worth was my bank account." I ended the call and, For the first time in my life, I felt no guilt. Moving on. Ethan and I stayed close, and my career flourished. I found love, built a life, and never looked back. As for my mother and Lila, the last I heard, they had moved to a smaller home, still blaming the world for their problems. But that was no longer my concern. I had broken free. Over the next several months, Amelia found herself reflecting on the years of emotional manipulation and expectation. She found therapy to be incredibly beneficial, offering her tools to set even firmer boundaries. Ethan, still recovering, started a new chapter in his life as a columnist, using his experiences to write about toxic family dynamics and emotional independence. One day, an unexpected email arrived in Amelia's inbox from her mother. The subject line simply read, "I need help." She stared at the screen, contemplating whether to even open it. Taking a deep breath, she clicked on the message, knowing she had the power now to say yes or no, to engage or ignore. For the first time in her life, she felt truly in control. She clicked delete. She had finally won.